Number 32, boys and girls. And that spot on our top 50 greatest players of all time list goes to Reuben Fine. Born in 1914 in New York City, where he also died in 1993 at age 78. Fine is someone I know little about, but I had it in the back of my head that he was excellent. I guess because I read a book about this 1938 tournament. Peter, what's your perception of him?
More or less the same. He's someone that I wasn't sure at all if he would get into our list, but I think he clearly belongs here. It's a guy that, probably was the strongest player in the world at some point, at least that's Sona's opinion, even for a brief amount of time. And, it's someone who also get his peak peak years, get its crushed by the World War. Of course, that's a small thing in that perspective, but he gets a bit unlucky there. I mean, as you say, his main achievement is the Avro tournament in 38, where he shares first together with Keres, but ahead of people like Botvinnik, Oewe, Reshevsky, Aljehen, Capablanca, such, right, who gets onto, most of them has world championship titles and get very close to, but Fine wins ahead of these guys or shares with Keres, but like Keres, he never gets a shot at the title. He actually gets invited in 48 for this World Championship tournament of 6 players that's going to be won by Botvinnik to fill the void after Aljehen's death. But by then, it seems a bit too late for him, and also he seems to have given up chess for sort of a more regular profession, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure it was too late in 48. He's not that old, right? He's 30, 33, 34. But probably he had settled down and he stated that he could not interrupt his work, yeah?
No, and I think
that's all story.
I mean, these days we have somewhat regular World Champion cycles, even if modern time has shown us not at all the case. But, to put your life on pause and your, livelihood depending on it somehow to get a possibility later also becomes a bit strange and such. So he probably took a very good decision for his own personal life. But it's clear that chess-wise, he was a bit unlucky. It's a guy who actually, in time of World Championships, might have been the best player in the world. He just didn't get a chance to prove that point of view, and we never really got to know if it was the truth or not. But I think his results, his ratings, and his games shows that, he belongs in the Hall of Fame, and it could have been better had he gotten the chance.
Absolutely. There is some, filler material in a way. He won a bunch of gold medals in the Chess Olympiads. He won the US Chess Championship every time he entered. Those kinds of things. But yeah, it's a bit like Pillsbury, where it's a question of what could have been. In Pillsbury's case, it was, if not for the illness. In Fine's case, it was more for the war. But somehow we have these cases. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence, but with US Americans, it feels like more often, maybe it's just because we're less aware of them in Lure, but we have Pillsbury, we have Fine, Murphy, will be later on that list, guys who show up briefly, but then seem to dominate.
I agree, but it feels a bit random, right? I mean, this one is a lot connected to the World War, and Pillsbury seems to be connected to illness. But of course, I guess the censor of tournaments was still Europe and such, and of course that maybe makes it a less respectable or likely way to make a stable sort of income and such. So I think obviously there is a structural thing that goes in that direction, but still it's a small sample size, but you make a good point for it. It's hard to not to agree with that for sure.
Also, maybe it's a bit embarrassing for European chess now if it's the center of the chess world, but then these US guys, they can just, crush everybody anyway whenever they decide to show up.
Yeah, I'm a bit puzzled by that. I mean, we generally see US only, having Fischer and then some kind of resurgence recently, but to some extent by, actually importing some foreigners for the top team. But they actually have a considerable role in the chess history, and seems to could have had even bigger if it wasn't by choice or by illness.
Very much so. Let's have a look at a game that, I think Fine himself called his best effort. Kasparov also praised it. So Who are we to argue? It's a game played by Reuben Fine with the white pieces against Salo Floor. And make your own jokes here. If you want to say that's a fine game that showed that he had a very high floor, knock yourself out. The French. Floor, by the way, another guy who I recall from my old books, who maybe is not that well remembered, but who was pretty good. I think we debated and we thought he doesn't quite belong on this list, but he was very, very strong as well.
Yeah, I thought we'd consider him at least for the honorable mentions and such. But yeah, he's sort of one that's connected, sort of, with also with Fine as someone who also disappears. But for instance, if you tag Avro, well, Fine wins it. Floor is clear last and such. And that, I think, made the difference from us. That we had to distinguish. And Avro 38, I think, made the difference between Floor and Fine.
So you're saying Fine had a higher ceiling than Floor?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Can't help. So 94, I guess, deserves some praise. Looks a bit counterintuitive, but freeing the way for the C-pawn. Then also Rook C1, preparing it. It's a very modern, very, very concrete concept by Fine, which nowadays you can see in some of these advanced carrows where they go for C4, but I was impressed, especially given the time. It's 1938. And here he comes. He's just opening the position and never giving black a chance to fully finish development. Always asking questions. Boom. Boom. I should go into chess commentary.
Yeah.
Boom. No, it's obviously we can't do all the subtleties justice in this format, but I think it goes to show that he's a very complete modern player who's great at calculating, great at playing move by move, while also playing sound values. Just a strong player.
Yeah. Yeah, this game strikes one as a bit too simplistic in many ways, but it's Kasparov's choice and his own as well. I don't think that it means that if this is his best game, that he was not that strong. Generally, that's not what the numbers are saying, nor his tournament's results and such. But there's going to be a somewhat more limited sample size because of event happening in the world at the time and such, right? And
no, also he chose it as his best game because he said he values accuracy above everything else. And I haven't checked with the computer, but apparently this is a very, very precise.
That's also the impression you get. Sort of, you say he values accuracy. I mean, he's not. Well, opposite to you, I don't think he needs to make a joke if there is an opportunity for it, right? He will rather state some kind of less, funny, but maybe more precise statement. It was the impression of Fine as I got him.
So you're saying, no, I don't value accuracy?
No, I don't want to go in that direction. I'm just saying he's less funny than you. Less funny than you.
I do agree. He does not look that funny, but he was a fantastic chess player. Shout out to Reuben Fine on spot 32. We'll be back with 31.